which is English Studies and Literary Studies. Sir Fred, thank you once again for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Is
Thank
there
you.
anything that I omitted out while introducing you to my audience?
Nothing actually, nothing really, but there's always a place to get to know one more. The little that you have just said is the little that the audience can gain and get from now. So, well, I would say that to add to that, I am Fred Patrick, known also as Fred Patrick, the grammar prophet.
Wow.
Yeah, so when you hear prophet, you know what it actually means, actually.
I imagine.
When it comes to area of English and then every sort of literary study, we have a way of making sure that students take the right path, just like a prophet would do.
Okay.
So, and over the years, by God's grace, we have been doing that and achieving that with His mercy.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So today I have some questions that I'm very, very certain will be of great beneficiary to my audience. So since you are a prophet when it comes to English and literature in English, so for today exclusive interview, our topic is going to be secret to passing English in one sitting. So there are some questions here that are very relative to my audience for preparing to write exam, be it internal exam or external exam that involves English studies or language. So the first one is, what common mistake do students make when studying or writing English in exams?
Well, let me start by saying that students over the years feel and assume, let me use the word assumption.
Okay.
They assume that English is something that they were actually born into. For those that grew up in a family where they use English to communicate with them. I've heard so many students say, why do I need to study English? This is what we speak every day.
Okay.
So they have lived in that euphoria, and it's becoming just something that they feel that they don't have to study about or study for. And that is one step to failure. One step to failure, where you fail to prepare for an exam. And English is vast.
Very, very.
English is dynamic. English is one of the most ambiguous and complicated course to study. It even includes logic. Yeah, it includes logic. If you want to, some people say studying law is very, very complex. Why? Because of the logic involved. English also involves logic. So you need to be able to deal with that. And you can't just deal with that believing that you know it already. So you need to learn the basics. You need to learn every element of the language. Because the English language has elements that you have to study. So that for me is one thing that actually arrives or takes them to failure. Makes them arrive at failure because they assume they don't even have to study the language.
Overconfidence and lack of preparation toward the exam.
That is the major thing.
Okay. So based on the elements we are talking about, now what are those elements that students need to know for them to have this self-confidence in exam? Now, not overconfidence.
Yeah.
But I feel if students really know what they are doing, it's going to boost their morale, going to give them confidence, and they are going to write the exam without having any problem in the examination. So what are those elements they need to know for them to be able to pass all the related exams when it comes to English?
All right. Like I mentioned, the basics. Every language has words, okay, with which to express it. Now, when it comes to English, every child learning English must learn those words and learn the functions of those words.
Okay.
So that you know that when you make a sentence, this is what I'm using this word for. Imagine you have to use, why I said English is ambiguous. Imagine you have a word like elicit and illicit. If you misuse those words because you don't know the functions, you will be laughed at by the native speakers.
Okay.
You know, we are the second learners, you understand, of English language. It's not our native language. So if you have to learn English, you must learn these elements. So you ask back to your question again, what are those elements? Now the elements are these words that we can break down into their functions. Once you start learning English, that's the basic thing. you have to know whether a word is functioning as a noun, as a verb, as an adjective, as a preposition, whether you are using it as a conjunction, and then know if it's a conjunction, what type of conjunction you are supposed to use. Okay? Because now there are other conjunctions like adverbial conjunctions. People don't even know that. You understand? They don't even know when to add. They are linking words. There are places where you have to use some linking words, like when you say, imagine somebody is about to say something and he wants to make use of a contrast. And it says, Tunde is very intelligent. And in contrast now, Tunde is very intelligent and he doesn't read. Does that balance? No, you can't use that and there to show a contrast. Tunde is very intelligent. However, he doesn't study. So what have you introduced? That, however, is a conjunction. It's an adverbial conjunction that links those two clauses together. So you must know when to, what function of word to use when you are expressing yourself. Like I mentioned earlier. Now, if you have to pass your exams, put these 6 P's in your head. That these 6 P's are prior, proper preparation, prevents poor performance.
Well, proper preparation prevents
poor performance.
Okay.
So the preparation is back to what I told you earlier. So that the child or any student of English would have to prepare, know these elements, know where they function, so that when you have questions like this, like when you have to fill the gap, because that's what they will do now. Examiners will take up those words and see if you know which one is the right one to replace a particular word, even when you are given options. Now tell me, if you don't know these elements, how do you function well? Is it magic?
Of course.
No, it's not even rocket science. Are you getting it? So they need to know these things to excel in their exams.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the answer you have given, not I think, I know, has already answered the question that I have here with me, which is, what are the solutions to these common errors?
Okay.
And talk about going back to the basics. Understanding those basics. I think they are all part of speech, right?
Yeah, but they are very, very broad. Yes. Not just like you were taught, what's the noun? Very broad.
Now, in depth to all this part of speech.
Exactly.
So you can know how to speak, you can know how to write, you can also
knowing the right word to use
at the right time.
Exactly.
To get to answer. That's very, very important. And I love that 6 P's
exactly.
you mentioned.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Poor performance.
Yes.
And that's perfect. So the next question I have here with me is, what are the key secret ingredients students must know to approach their exam with confidence? Okay. I think I've answered already and you have answered that.
No, we can still throw more light on that.
Okay.
We can throw more light on that. Now, for every English student out there that really want to excel in their exams, I would say, I would want to know what exam in particular you're preparing for. If you're preparing for WAEC, there are things you have to do, different from what the JAMB student would have to do. So let me break it down to what the WAEC student should get themselves prepared for. The WAEC English exam is structured in such a way that you must know how to write essays. You must also know how to write letters as well. So these, amongst others, are the things that every English student who wants to write SSC WAEC should get themselves prepared in. How to write letter, know how to structure your address if you're writing a formal letter, know how to structure your address if you are writing an informal letter, know how to organize the body of your letter, and then up to the complimentary close. These are the things, one of the key areas to study, and then also you move on to your reading comprehension aspect. That part is actually very, very vast, in the sense that, one, you need comprehension. And to get comprehension, what you need is 100% focus. Children and students of these days don't know how to give 100% focus. So their mind is neither here nor there. So when you cannot give 100% focus, how do you want to understand the said passage? So the first test is to have that, to be able to focus without distraction.